Welcome to the next instalment of my lesson with Adrian Hill, Morris Lubricants Technology Manager, and we're learning all about antifreeze coolants. What is it about the Morris brand and the product that puts it above everything else? Why should people buy this new Ultralife product?
Yeah, I mean, for us, it's, we have a big customer base. We have customers who have put a lot of trust in our product. We're very open about us wanting to make sure that our customers, whether it's a B2B situation, where it's basically their livelihood that's at stake, or even a B2C situation. But from a B2B perspective, we always drive our kind of a quality ethos along that, because if people have got, as I say, businesses to protect, their livelihoods to protect, they rely on us to provide the correct lubricants, which we have done for many, many years, as I say, 150 years plus now. And on the back of that, we want to complement that now. We've been able to provide the correct technologies from the antifreeze coolant range to complement what we're doing with engine oils. So we've established our credentials in terms of being able to provide the correct vehicle lubrication, as I say, all across the driveline, from engine all the way down to axle through gearboxes. So this makes sense for us to launch, a whole new range of products, pitched at the right technology, pitched at the right OEM specification profiles. So that's why we felt it's time to do that now. It's time to complement our engine oil technologies with the correct antifreeze coolant technologies.
Can you mix different antifreeze coolants together?
Ooh, that's a dangerous approach, yeah.
Okay.
Which is why, again, advice should always be sought onto what antifreeze coolant you need. But the problem is, because you've got lots of active chemistry in there, okay, these inhibitors, these oxidation inhibitors and various other things floating around, they don't necessarily like each other if you've got incompatible chemistries. So they're fighting it out amongst themselves rather than protecting the engine system. So that can be a problem. If the technology isn't suited to the metallurgy of that engine, then of course, and one of the biggest ways that these coolant systems, particularly radiators, are manufactured now is something called controlled atmosphere brazing, because a lot of the radiator matrices are made from aluminium. You can't weld aluminium like you can weld, iron-based kind of alloys. So this CAB approach, this flux brazing as they call it, can leave a certain amount of residues behind. Okay. And there are certain chemistries which will attack those residues, and then they will actually start to affect the weld as well. So you can start to get leaks. So if you put the wrong chemistry into that kind of engine with that kind of metallurgy and the way that's been manufactured, then that will cause you problems. So mixing and matching mixing is not a good idea. It's incompatible specifications. Always match the specification. If you're going to use a different antifreeze brand, always make sure the chemistry is balanced to that engine, and then you won't get any of these nasty side effects, which can be catastrophic, essentially.
So as tempting as it might be to make your own cocktail, do not do it.
Do not go for the colour you really desire, because that is not going to be the way you're going to protect your engine.
I will do as I'm told.
Okay.
And you mentioned before about sort of if there's a problem with the cooling system and there's leaks and things, you'd have to top that up. But are there any cases where you might have to do that sooner because machinery has been working really hard, or you've done lots of miles, things like that?
Yeah, I mean, you should get very little antifreeze coolant loss, really. In a modern pressurized system, because the whole reason I say why it's pressurized is it's to get that boiling point, to a point where it's 107, degrees centigrade. So you couldn't do that in atmospheric pressure. So you have to pressurize the system. So anywhere where there's significant top up, you may get a little bit of evaporation of the water, but again, it shouldn't have anywhere to go because it's a sealed pressurized system. So it's always an indicator if you're having to make regular antifreeze coolant top-ups. And if you have got to do that before you get some remedial action taken, always make sure you're topping up with the correct coolant strength as well. So if it's 50-50 in there, always top up with 50-50. Yeah. Don't just put straight water in, because then you're diluting it, rather than keeping the strength the same. But that's another important factor as well, is that because antifreeze contains this monoethylene glycol I mentioned, which elevates the boiling point, but it lowers the freezing point. So the question sometimes is asked, well, why didn't you just put monoethylene glycol in there? And the reason why is because water is the best cooling medium on the planet. Monoethylene glycol isn't, basically. So monoethylene glycol isn't really good at taking heat away. So if you put too much monoethylene glycol in there, then your engine overheats. So you never want to over-treat antifreeze coolant. 50-50 should always be the maximum dilution that you use it at. And of course, if you just put water in, you will dilute it, and therefore you won't get the frost protection. But if you are doing that regularly, you're losing it somewhere. So it does need to be checked out by a trained mechanic, so they can see, look at the coolant system, detect a leak, and remedy it. Because as I say, that leak could be into the engine oil. It could be anywhere within the engine system, and that could cause catastrophic damage if it goes unchecked. So you shouldn't lose antifreeze coolant unless there's a problem starting.
Amazing. I have learned so much today. Thank you very much. So where can people go to find out more about the new Ultralife product range? Okay,
well the best thing to do is obviously visit the website. Okay, so the Morris Lubricants website, that'll be detailing the Ultralifes, the 1 through to 4. Okay, so you can get information on those. You'll also obviously see our old MEG antifreeze, the 2-year, and the older kind of 5-year red antifreeze as well. But they are kind of, say, the old stages now, because they don't have the profiles, the specification lists that the new products do. So you can go onto there, and obviously you can look at our social media kind of sites as well, where obviously we're putting information out as well. But yeah, and call up, if you need information or you want some advice. And again, as I say, our tech service team are around, and we'll be able to help and give you some put your mind at rest.
Well, thank you very much for your introduction to the new range. And if anyone wants to head to the YouTube channel, there are some more amazing videos. The Ask Aid series is exceptional if you want to learn more about the Morris Lubricants product range. And you've got some stuff with Guy Martin, and so there's a wealth of information out there for you guys to log into, watch, engage with. And yeah, any questions, you can ask them in the comments below the videos. You can get in touch directly. So yeah, thank you for tuning in, and I hope you've learned as much as I have today.